Hello and welcome back. As you can see, this is another diary entry with poor man's chroma key. I've basically flooded that with green light, bright green light, so I can chroma key my bathroom into the background. Not sure how it's going to work though. I might not do it very often because the frame rate drops. The output is steady as anything, but the frame rate is bad. Anyway, let's have a look. The sound's on, the lights are on, the background's on. Let's carry on. Look, my hand disappears. That's not bad for poor man's chroma key. But how wide does it have to be to get chroma key? A chair-based one would be sufficient because I'm close enough in that, it would be 4 or 5 feet wide. That would be pretty good. I might do that, And then the chroma key would work better. Anyway, the police left about an hour ago. I'm going to get another phone call from his sergeant. He thinks he was a bit disgusted at what I said about Chingford Police Station. There's not much he can do about housing, I'm sure there isn't. But at least if I can get the police to investigate all the assaults against me, and I call them assaults, I don't know if anyone else does, but threats from people that have admitted on camera twice that they take cannabis and housing do nothing should be evicted. Threats in writing from my neighbours, verbally threatening me in the stairwells, shouting at me and accusing me of all sorts of acts, is not on. And I shouldn't have to keep going through this for year after year. I want peace and quiet, and I want rid of my neighbours that are troublemakers. I don't ask for much. And then I'll be able to take my own rubbish out and I'll have freedom back again. At the moment, I don't have any freedom because housing support my neighbours in bullying, harassing and threatening me. And like I said, if I've got them on camera, how can they deny it? So I'll look forward to that. I've not been very warm today. I had to have my dinner early, about 2ish, just to warm up. I'm going to have to sit down and try and work out something from Co-op because I am running out of food. I can't have chicken and chips all the time. Although having said that, I don't even know if I've got any chips. I think I might have finished ones today. Oh. It's not been good. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I've had my dinner early to warm up. I've had the heating on most of the afternoon. I had the stove on for 3 hours after I'd done my dinner, and I didn't realise it, so God knows how much that's cost me. Thankfully, it's thermostatically controlled, so it wouldn't have cost that much more. But I have been shaking out of fear more than cold, I think. I'm getting more and more scared daily here. And I don't want to feel like this. I like the area. I just think housing should evict a few people. Just because you've got the same colour skin, don't mean you have to be biased. In fact, public servants are supposed to be unbiased, and yet they're not in Waltham Forest. I've also reiterated my complaint of racism in Waltham Forest. He's taken down the 4 names I've given. And I've told him that the SNT are investigating the one letter I've got to see if it was sent to any more than one person, and they're going to ask for copies of it. But I said to this copper tonight, it wouldn't normally have been sent to more than one person, because some of them came from Darren Joseph, my alleged single point of contact. I don't think anyone black has a single point of contact in this borough. Can't get that information. But it's a very rare privilege to be awarded a single point of contact. You have to be a troublemaking little shit, basically. And then the chief executive signs off an unofficial order saying put him on a single point of contact. We know it's removing all his rights, but we don't want to talk to him. And this was proven last week, or this week, when Waltham Forest Council tried putting me on a blocked email. That would be interesting. I wonder what their explanation was for that. And the reason I say it was blocked is because after I spoke to Housing Ombudsman, 3 hours later, I got 3 confirmations. And you don't get a spam filter and 3 confirmations. They've done that. They forced it through the system. I think Waltham Forest Council are doing so, like I keep saying, no one wants to listen to me. There's so much shit going on with Waltham Forest Council, I would close the council down and immediately put it under emergency sanctions and have all the services transferred to another borough. Immediately. And then you can do a thorough investigation of everything that's been going on. Because there's discrimination and racism in Waltham Forest Council. I will keep saying this until someone out there picks this up and starts an investigation. I explained it to the police tonight. I've explained it to the police before. I've explained it to caseworkers. I can explain it to anyone. You want to take me to court, Waltham Forest Council, for perjury or even just for lying? Then prove it to me. Take me to court. Come on! I'd look forward to my day in court with you. Disclosure. You don't want any of that, do you? Because if you take me to court, I can ask for full disclosure. And if you don't give it to me, you'll be in breach of the court. And you will end up with corporate fines. So come on, take me to court, then I can ask for full disclosure. And then I'll get access to all the information you're withholding from me. I've tried getting all my data from housing twice, and they've refused. Refused! So I'm trying it from the third parties. If I can get me data from the third parties, I can put 2 and 2 together and work out exactly what's going on. That's why the council don't like me. I've asked the chief executive for a subject access request for any communication he's had with other departments. Internal and external, I think I phrased it. Because I believe the chief exec of Waltham Forest has signed off a single point of contact as a punishment. It's removing my rights, and like I keep saying, the only way they can do that is either with a court order or via a policy where there's safety measures involved, i.e. right to appeal, right to warning, right to have protected rights protected. They hate me, Waltham Forest Council, because I might be old, I might be ill, and I might be autistic, but none of that makes me stupid. I have rights. Rights that cannot, without a court order, be overmanded. And if the chief executive wants to sign off a single point of contact, just because he don't like the questions I ask, then so be it. Let's have a full investigation into the chief executive, Waltham Forest Council, shall we? Racism in housing. Discrimination from the chief exec's office. Discrimination from several chairs of committees for blocking me on the email system. I've put complaints in about that. Unsubstantiated. Complaints at Waltham Forest start with the person you're complaining about. That's what complaints have told me. If I complain about housing, they'll send the complaint to housing to investigate. Oh, isn't it a surprise that 2 years worth of complaints weren't logged as complaints? Oh, isn't that funny? Are they racist? Are they discriminating against disabled people? Take your pick. One or the other will do. Maybe both. I don't know, boys and girls. I won't lean back too far because then my face disappears into the bin bags because I get all the green light. Lentils, man. Anyway, like I keep saying, I've shown the evidence I've got to the policeman that came round tonight. I have evidence as much as I can because Waltham Forest Council are refusing to give me the information I require to prove things because they know they've done something wrong. They're a bunch of liars, racists, and disability discriminating people. And I would close the whole borough down tonight. Pass the powers over to the Housing Ombudsman, for instance. That's where I would change the powers. The Housing Ombudsman should have the right, like Ofcom has, to step in where they think there's substantial misdemeanours. They should be able to take over housing, for instance. And IT, because IT is where all the secrets are stored and deleted. And that's the problem. They'll say one thing on the phone, like my caseworker will verify, and they'll do something totally different, like telling me off for raising a complaint. We're going to ignore any further complaints about you and waste management, Mr. Gibbons. Okay, but tell me the answer. I'm not sure they can ignore complaints about anything anyway, because, over a period of time, circumstances change, and if you put another request in, it's supposed to be seen as individual. In fact, I should force that up. In fact, it has gone up to the LGO, Local Government Ombudsman and Social Care. They've requested a copy of their final appeal or final complaint because I'm not sure they can actually do what they said they did. And they haven't answered the question, and they said something about moving the communal bins. I never asked about moving the communal bins. I mean, if they moved the communal bins underneath my kitchen window, that would be ideal. I could just drop the bags out in the kitchen window, and then we're all happy. But as it stands, I don't think they will. Even though the council don't give a shit whether the bins are inside the bin sheds or not, or whether the bin sheds are locked or not. I put a complaint in 18 months ago about the lid on our bin shed being broken, and that's been ignored. And that is supported by his manager and their manager. And probably their manager's manager. It goes up the chain. I mean, where does the racism and hate crime end? Waltham Forest Council. I could do with a beer, I tell you, or some wine. I'm going to do an order in a moment and get some alcohol this weekend and some food and try and get healthy and warm because I'm fed up of living like this. Anyway, 13 minutes. Did say I'd keep it down to 10, boys and girls, didn't I? Okay. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll speak to you again shortly. Have a good night.